Hello everyone, welcome to a video that I thought I'd make, and someone asked in the comment section early in the week if I can make a PvP guide for 8.0 on what I use. So I thought, why not? And this is, I think, reasonably useful for people who, are not pros. If you're a pro, this is not a video for you. Okay, you need to go and watch someone else. Okay, like Savix or someone who takes on 5 people and wins. So if you're a pro, see you later, or stay and then make fun of me in the comment section. That's fine. If you are just a normal person like myself that plays just casually, I think that's fair. You can stay and watch, and I can explain. And if you've liked my videos and like how I play, well then this will show that. So I like to start with eye level. Now your stats, secondary stats, your eye level now matters. So the higher you can boost that your eye level, that's better. The higher your weapon can go, that's better. My one is 218 and it's doing fine. When it comes to secondary stats, I think haste and mastery is are your two most important stats. So as you can see, I've packed a lot of mastery, and haste is decent. I think 25% is quite high for 8.0. And the reason why I'm packing haste and mastery, and haste is pretty much self-explanatory because it reduces the cooldowns of things, and you can use Blade of Wrath and Judgment and Crusader Strike quicker and more often per minute. So that's self-explanatory. But mastery is basically because of this guy, Hand of Light, which basically increases your holy damage by pretty much whatever percentage you have on mastery will stack onto your holy damage. So that comes very useful for increasing damage of your Templar's Verdict and your holy power spenders, basically. So I would advise that. If you can get versatility up to this region, that's fine. And critical strike, I think anything above 20% is pretty great. So that would be that when it comes to stats. When it comes to talents, so this is mainly for BGs, but I'll plug in what I think would be useful for Arena. When it comes to the first row, I really play Righteous Verdict the most in Battlegrounds. I think it's your most useful if you have high haste. Haste, yeah, where it is for me in the in the mid 20s. What you also can do is Execution Sentence, but I think this is more of an arena thing, and it will make you definitely more burstier. So in my opinion, Righteous Verdict and Execution Sentence are both much better than Zeal. Although Zeal has its pros, I just don't feel that I want to have auto attacks happen faster. For people that are geared towards more damage on auto attacks, all the best to you, but that's not how I play. Now the second row, I go for Blade of Wrath, because I think it's a very important talent. Again, this is mainly for PGs. You can go and reduce with Fires of Justice your Crusader Strike, but I don't think it's worth it. Only 15%, and you might get one less holy power required for the next one. But I think it's weaker than Blade of Wrath. Hammer of Wrath, as much as people get excited from the fantasy point of view, not a big fan. Again, I would not for BGs. I would pick it for arenas where you've got a lot of ranged targets, a lot of on the other side. What might persuade me for Hammer of Wrath would be if it hit harder. But right now Blade of Wrath is, I think, the best choice here. Fist of Justice, I think, is the best out of all of these three for BGs in the third row. Possibly Blinding Light. Repentance might be required for a Mage Tower, I think, but for BGs, I think Fist of Justice is very important so that we can reduce the cooldown of Hammer of Justice. In this row, I think you got to pick Wake of Ashes. It hits like a truck, unlike Legion. This one you can almost use this as a finishing ability in some fights, and it'll hit them hard. And if it crits, it can hit for a lot. So in this row, definitely Wake of Ashes. In this row, I have been going with eye for an eye, but really all three are viable. Um, I think Unbreakable Spirit, maybe eye for an eye a bit more in BGs. Cavalier I would do maybe in arenas, depending on who you're fighting. But I'm leaning towards going for Unbreakable Spirit because reducing the cooldowns on Divine Shield, Shield of Vengeance, and Lay on Hands by 30% is huge, and BGs go for 10 minutes usually to 15. So I think I might be moving towards Unbreakable Spirit, but at the moment I'm playing eye for an eye. But we'll see. In the next row, I think Justice Guard's Vengeance is no good. I've tried it and used it, and when I went to Word of Glory, it pretty much changed how I play. And not just that, it increased my survivability and my damage output because I was alive more often than not, and it saved you know my players as well who played with me around me. Selfless Healer is one that you might choose. I think it's more for arena, but you could do it with BGs. I don't, and I don't plan on doing it. So the same reason I don't use the Selfless Healer for kind of the same reason why I stopped using Seraphim's Blessing in BGs, and that's because I don't find it as useful as Word of Glory, because I can execute Word of Glory in middle of battle and heal not just myself but others, where by just pressing the button, whereas with Selfless Healer you would have to focus and so on and get into the macros a little bit. It seems like a bit more of a pro move, which doesn't suit me. And the final row, I think Divine Purpose without a doubt is something that you can go for. I've never used Crusade in BGs unless I forgot to swap. It's a shame for PvE they got nerfed, but that's what it is. You might want to use Inquisition, but I think Divine Purpose is your best choice here by far. Now, when it comes to PvP talents, I use Relentless here because I'm a human, and we've got that awesome racial. But really, you can use a Trinket. That's fine. Or Adaptation. It's really up to you. I think Trinket is better for arena, and for BGs, Relentless or Adaptation. Law and Order, I think, is a must. It really helps to cripple and slow down others with your Blade of Wrath, just as crippled and slowed down Paladins are. And I really enjoy this talent. I can't imagine myself picking anything over this. Divine Punisher I like because it generates 3 holy power if I hit someone with 2 consecutive judgments. I've liked that, so I think this is something that I would choose both in arenas and in BGs. And I go with Vengeance Aura here because it gives you a stack of 4% of holy damage and critical strike for 10 seconds, and it can go up to 4 times if people get CC'd. If you get CC'd or people around you get CC'd, and that happens in BGs quite a bit. So I use that. For arena, you might want to go with Blessing of Sanctuary. You can do that in BGs as well. That's fine. But for arena, I think it's a better choice to have a Blessing of Sanctuary. But you could go with Vengeance Aura as well. And that's pretty much it when it comes to talents and PvP talents. When it comes to add-ons, I've been asked about my frames. I use Easyframes, so maybe I'll just open my add-ons. So I use Bartender 4 for all of my bars, action bars, and Easyframes for my frame. Gladius is really useful for arenas and use it. I use Quartz so that I can get this nice progress bar as I'm executing a spell. Skada for DPS, but you don't have to use that for BGs. That's more for PvE. And for Holy Power, since it's I used to use Holy Power Indicator, which I really liked, but now I don't think it's being active for 8.0. The programmer is not doing it, so I use WeakAuras, and I've built my own Holy Power bar, which is basically a modified version of the templated one, and I have exported a string that if you get WeakAuras, you can import this string and it'll give you this progress bar. So it'll go to 0 eventually, and then it'll disappear. If you don't like this progress bar, you can go with Engraved. So as you can see, Engraved here will give you these runes. So I've got 3 now. So that's a bit closer to Holy Power indicator add-on, but it's an option. For now I'm going with the progress bar, but I might switch to Engraved. So I'll just turn that off. When it comes to maybe potions and flasks and so on, I use the Flask of Countless Armies, so that gives you a buff to your strength. And there are a few other PvP options. Just go to PvP vendor and see what you can get. That'll buff your, I think, damage for 12 seconds by, I don't know, 20 or 30% or something like that. When it comes to macros, I don't use a lot of macros in BGs, but I do use one macro in Arena, and that's for bopping my fellow teammate. Let me just get that. So, and it's just one line, and that's the line, and this will basically bop whoever is party 1, and that's usually if you're in a three person team, that'll usually be the healer. And usually healers in BGs will be number 1 unless you have no healers, or it'll be your partner. So this is a very useful one, definitely for arenas, 2v2 skirmishes, 3v3, so on, but you can use it in BGs as well. So I'll post that in the comment section. And yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to this PvP guide for Battlegrounds, pretty much random Battlegrounds. So I hope it's useful. I hope it explains why I do certain things the way I do it. And like I said, if you enjoy my videos and you're interested in how I played PvP, that's how I play it. Thank you very much for watching. This was my PvP guide for 8.0 as it is, and 8.0 is quite good for Reds, I think, and we're doing quite well. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again later with some PvP videos. Mainly Battlegrounds. Bye.